Dear students, hope you are doing well. During this lockdown period, since in our college the live online classes are going on, still I have decided to make this video on my lesson so that the students whoever have missed the classes, they can access it anytime, anywhere according to their convenience. So this is my practical class and I'm going to teach you my map projection part, and under the map projection my today's topic is the equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection. Now, before coming into our today's discussion, I would like to explain some of the important concepts related to equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection. We all know that under the exogenetic criteria or the extrinsic criteria of the map projection, plane of projection is one of the most important parameters. And on the basis of this parameter, the projection can be classified into three groups. First, the planar projection, second one is the conical group of projection, and third one is the cylindrical group of projection. Now, our today's projection, map projection, falls under the planar group of projection. Now, if we can consider these diagrams here, the plane in the planar group of projection, this is the plane of projection which may touch the pole or which may be tangent to the equator, or it may touch or be tangent between any points between equator and the pole. So in our case, that is the equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection, it is the equatorial planar projection where the plane of projection is tangent to the equator. Next comes the concept of azimuthal projection. Now, in case of azimuthal projection, the plane of projection is become tangent to any places within the generating globe. In this case, it will be the equator. So that point of tangency will be considered as the center of the plane of projection. As you can see here, this diagram, in our cases, the plane of projection is actually tangent to the generating globe at the equator. So this point is projected here on the projection plane. This is the center where the longitude and latitude are being intersected, and this is the center of the projection. Now, in case of azimuthal cases, the direction of from the center of the projection to any other points is being maintained true. That means it is similar to that of the generating globe as well as on the plane of projection. So from the center to any other point, the direction or the angle remain the true. So this actually explains well how the azimuthal property is being maintained in azimuthal projection. And lastly, there comes the concept of the stereography. Now, it is actually the source of the light. Depending on the source of the light, the projection can be classified into three. If it is at the source of light is at the center, it would be called the mnemonic group of projection. If the source of light is at the opposite pole, it would be the stereographic group of projection. And if the source of light is at infinity distance, then it would be called the orthographic projection. You can see the last three diagrams where the first of all, in case of mnemonic projection, the source of light will be at the center. In case of stereographic projection, the source of light will be at the opposite pole, and in case of the orthographic projection, the source of light is coming from the infinity distance. So our projection, that is the equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection, it will confirm these three diagrams. So now let us directly come to the PPT. So let's initiate our class. Today's topic is equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection. As you see from the nomenclature of this projection, we can illustrate the idea of this projection. So like any other projection, or rather map projection, I would like to explain this projection also following these points. First of all, we would come to know about the principle of this projection, next the theory, next I will give you an exercise and you have to do is the calculation part. Next we have to learn about the proof of any part of the theory. Next we would come to know about the construction of this map projection, and finally we should learn about the properties of this particular map projection. So first of all, let's start with the principal part. This equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection is basically a planar projection where the plane of projection touches the globe either at equator or at pole or in between any places between the pole and the equator. So in these cases, for this projection, the plane of projection touches the globe at the equator. That's why this projection is called the equatorial projection. Next comes the idea of the azimuthal projection. For azimuthal projection, the property of azimuth is being maintained. Now what is azimuth? It is actually the where the direction is being maintained from the center of the projection to any other point on the globe. So it is found that the projection plane is tangent to the globe, and that point of tangency is called actually the center of the projection. And in case of azimuthal projection, the direction or the azimuth from that center of the projection to any other point on the globe is being maintained true or correct. That's why this projection is called the azimuthal projection. You can see from the diagram that this particular kind of projection will look like this one, where one hemisphere can be seen totally. Now there comes the idea of the stereographic. As you know, it is based on the idea of the source of light, location of the source of light. So the earlier projection, you come to know about the mnemonic where the source of light was in center. It is the stereographic as the source of light is diagrammatically opposite pole to that of the plane of projection. That means if the plane of projection touches the north pole, then the source of light should be in the south pole and vice versa. That's why this projection is also called the stereographic. That means you come to know about that why it is called equatorial, why it is called azimuthal, why it is called stereographic projection. Right. Now it is also called a projection which maintains the conformity. That means it's a conformal projection, or the property of orthomorphism is being maintained, where the shape of the projection is being preserved. As you know that all the meridians intersect all the parallels of latitude in this projection in right angle, therefore the shape is being preserved. So here comes the end of the principle that why this particular projection is being nomenclatured as equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection. Next comes the theory. According to the theory, the calculation part is being developed. So first of all, we should calculate the reduced radius of the generating globe, which can be identified as capital R. R is equal to reduced radius of the earth divided by denominator of RF, and you know that in CGS system the reduced radius is 640 million centimeter, and for FPS system it is 250 million inch. So according to your exercise, you have to take any one of them and you have to calculate it. Next, I always tell the students that you should mention the parallels, what parallels have to be drawn and what meridians you have to be drawn. Depending on the interval of the projection, you have to just mention the parallels north or south and meridians east or west. Next theory is to find out or to calculate the division along the equator and central meridian, which can be expressed as twice r tan d by 2. You already know the value of r from the reduced radius. of the earth, and the d represents the angular distance of any point from the center of the projection. Now angular distance actually dependent on the interval. Now if the interval is 10 degree, look at the following table. If the interval is 10 degree, so for d1 degree it is 10, for d2 degree it is 20, for d3 degree it is 30, for d4 degree it is 40 degree, both for parallels of latitude and for central and the meridians. Okay, so after completing this point, you have to calculate the radius of any parallels of latitude by the formula twice r cot phi. Now it will be all it should have a unit of measurement, like for the previous one, the division along the equator or central meridian, it may be in inch or maybe in centimeter. Similarly, radius of parallels of latitude as well as radius of meridian, both will have the unit of measurement in centimeter or in inch. So for the radius of any parallel, that is twice r cot phi, you have also, and the phi represents the parallels of latitude, and you also have to construct a table where the table goes like phi 1 degree, phi 2 degree, phi 3 degree, phi 4 degree. That means depending on the interval, you the phi 1 may be, if the interval is 10 degree, so phi 1 degree would be 10 degree, phi 2 means 20 degree, phi 3 means 30 degree, phi 4 means 40 degree, and similarly cot means 1 by 10. So in calculator you have to just put the value 1 by 10 degree in multiplied by 2 into the r value, then only the radius of the parallels will be calculated. Next comes the radius of the meridian, which will be expressed as twice r cosec theta, where theta means the angular distance of any meridian from the center. That means, and there also a table should be constructed. You know it all that cosec is nothing but 1 divided by sine. So for phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, phi 4, it should be the angular value from the central meridian. If the interval is 10 degree, so for phi 1 the value would be 10, phi 2 would be 20, phi 3 would be 30, phi 4 would be 40. But always keep in mind that this theta value for the meridian, this is not the actual meridional value, it is the angular value of the meridian from the center. That means if the central meridian is 90 degree, just look at this figure here. If the central meridian is 90 degree east, so for it is here the interval is 15 degree, so just beside 90 degree east, there in the eastern part there is 105 degree east, and west part it is 75 degree east. So for 15 degree theta value, both the meridians 75 degree east and 105 degree east, it will be true. So I come to the previous table. So for theta 1 means 15 degree, but it will stand for 75 degree east and 105 degree east. Similarly for theta 2 value, it will be 30 degree, but it will stand for 60 degree east and 120 degree east, and so on. Next I come to the exercise part. Draw the graticules of eastern hemisphere on equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection at 15 degree interval with a scale of 1:200 million on a plane touching the equator at 90 degree east. Now what does that mean? The plane touching the equator at 90 degree east means the central meridian is 90 degree east. So the scale is 1:200 million and the interval is 15 degree. And from the exercise you can see that you have to draw the map projection of eastern hemisphere. It is being mentioned already. If it was not being mentioned, you have to get the idea from the central meridian, as the central meridian is 90 degree east, so definitely it would be the eastern hemisphere only. So first we have to find out the reduced radius of the generating globe. Now it will be the reduced radius of the earth divided by denominator of RF, which is 640 million centimeter, divided by 200 million, that means 3.2 centimeter. Now what I have said, that you have to mention the selected parallels which you have to be drawn, and for 15-degree interval, the selected parallels would be 15-degree north and south, 30-degree north and south, 45-degree north and south, 60-degree north and south, 75-degree north and south, and 90-degree north and south. And what are the meridians to be drawn for 15-degree intervals for whole of the eastern hemisphere? Those are 0 degree, 15 degree east, 30 degree east, 45 degree east, 60 degree east, 75 degree east, 90 degree east. Just remember that this 90 degree east would be the central meridian, and after that it would be 105 degree east, 120 degree east, 135 degree east, 150 degree east, 165 degree east, and 180 degree east or west, whatever it is. Now you have to calculate the division along the equator and the central meridian for twice r tan d by 2. Just put the value of d, means the interval value. D is nothing but the angular measurement from the center of the map projection. So it is 15 degree it reaches to 0.84 centimeter, for 30 degree, for 45, for 60, for 75, and for 90 degree. Now there is a possibility to cross check whether your calculation is getting right or wrong. That is, you have already found that your R value is 3.2 centimeter. Now if you found out that for twice r tan d by 2 for 90 degree it is 6.4, that means exact double of R. For 3.2 the exact double value is 6.4. If for 90 degree it is 6.4, then it will be okay. That means your measurement or your calculation is absolutely going in the right direction. Next you have to find out the radius of any parallels of latitude, that is twice r cot phi. So you just have to put the values of parallels, that means 15, 30, 40 degree north and south, 60, 75, 90 degree, and please mention the degree north and degree south. So the values are found out and it is being written. You please mention the unit also, as I have also mentioned. And finally comes the radius of any meridian, which will be expressed with the help of twice r cosec theta. Just look at the table here. What I have said earlier, that for theta you have to mention the angular value, but that angular value actually represents for which meridian. So 15 degree means immediate two meridians beside the central meridian. So central meridian is 90 degree east, so it's immediate two meridians beside 90 degree east is 75 degree east and 105 degree east. So the value of radius of 75 degree east and 105 degree east would be 24.7 centimeter. Similarly 30, 45, 60, 75, 90 degree value of the radius of the meridian are being calculated. Now we will come to the next part, that is the proof part. So for this map projection, what we are going to prove? We would be going to prove that the division along the equator or the central meridian should be found out by this formula twice r tan d by 2. So how this expression has been generated, we should learn about that. Just look at the diagram and let us look at the board also. Just look at this diagram. Here, this is the generating globe CEDW, and W', E' is the projection plane which is tangent to the globe at point C. That means the plane of projection is being tangent to the generating globe at point C, which means C is the center of on the plane of projection. Here, this pink color parallels of latitude is represented by theta degree. That means it produces theta angle at the center. So 0 is the center of the globe. So we are connecting 0 to this point A. A is nothing but a point over the theta degree latitude. Since it is a stereographic projection, therefore the source of light is at the D. So the A point on the theta degree latitude is being represented as A dashed over the plane of projection, as the source of light is coming straight from the opposite pole. So now we are joining the DA. So there produces a isosceles triangle where the OA is equal to OD is equal to the radius of the globe. Now we already know that in any isosceles triangle, the external angle is just double to the opposite interior angle, or in opposite way, the internal angle is just half the opposite external angle. That means if we consider the triangle ODA, so the external angle of ODA is the angle COA, that means theta. So this external angle would be just double to ODA, and ODA angle would be just half to that of theta. That means if it is theta, ODA angle would be theta by 2. Now let us consider this triangle, angle CDA dashed. I repeat, angle CDA dashed. Here this angle is 90 degree because the plane of projection is tangent at point C. Therefore this angle is 90 degree, angle C. Angle CDA dash, this angle is theta by 2. Now if we have to find out tan theta by 2 is equal to height by base, that means CA divided by CD. Now what is CD? It is nothing but twice R, because OC is equal to R, OD is equal to R, that means CD is equal to twice R. Therefore tan theta by 2 is equal to CA dash divided by twice R. So CA dash is equal to twice R tan theta by 2. CA dash means the division on the central meridian or the equator for spacing the parallels and the meridians. So now my proof is being completed. Now I come to the construction part. First, what you have to do is to draw a circle with a radius of twice r to represent the bounding meridian. Next, within this circle, the horizontal and vertical diameters you have to draw to represent the equator and the central meridian respectively. Now what you have to do is to divide this equator and the central meridian by twice r tan d by 2 formula for spacing the meridians and for spacing the parallels respectively. Next comes to draw the circles of radii of the parallels of latitude, and for that you have to take the values from the tables of twice r cot phi centimeter, and taking each of the values you have to draw the parallels of latitude, and similarly following the values of twice r cosec theta from the table, you have to draw all the meridians. And finally what you have to do is to label all the meridians and the latitudes. You have to put the heading or the title, as well as you have to write down the representative fraction in the bottom part. Now I am going to show you this construction part on the board. Follow it. In construction part, I would like to mention one important aspect. Just look at the table of the radii of parallels of latitude and the radii of the meridians. You will find it that for 15-degree values, the length of the radius length is very large. So what you have to do that if you are constructing the projection on A4 size sheet or A3 size sheet, you may have to attach the sheets in 4 different sides, so that the you can draw the radius length, and then you can remove those sheets. So this one thing, important thing, you always have to keep in your mind. So now let us consider the construction. First, what I have told you, you have to draw a circle with it's a bounding circle with twice r radius. So first, just take your value. R value is 3.2 centimeter according to the exercise. So you have to take the value of 6.4 centimeter and draw the bounding circle. Then what you have to do, you have to draw the, with your scale obviously, you have to draw the meridian, central meridian and the equator. Then taking the value of twice r tan d by 2, you have to, with the help of the divider, you have to just cut out the or divide the central meridian and the equator. So first take the values. This is the first 15-degree value, the meridian location. So taking first, let us draw let us construct the parallels of latitude. So it is about if I remember, it is about 23.9 centimeter. Just look at the table. So take the value of 23.9 centimeter. It is, keep in your mind that here also the paper is being attached over here, here, here and here. So by scale, you take the measurement of 23.9 centimeter from here, and if it is reach up to this, for example, if it reaches up to this, then you just put the compass over here with the extension bar and then draw the radii. Similarly, for 15-degree south latitude, from the with the help of this scale, you just have to measure 23.9 centimeter from here to on the central meridian. If the point is here, then with the help of the compass and the extension bar, you just have to draw the radii of the parallels of latitude. Then again, take the values of the next parallels of latitude, measure it from here only on the central meridian. Then from there, this point, you have to draw the parallels. Here also you have to take the measurement from here to the down of the central meridian, and putting the compass over here, you have to draw the radii. Similarly, for constructing the meridians, what you have to do, first take the example of the immediate meridians beside the central meridian. That is for this is for 105 degree east and this is for 75 degree east. So if it is suppose about 24 centimeter, so take the scale measurement of 24 centimeter from here to here only. So put the scale over this, take the measurement of 24 centimeter, and the point you reach the 24 centimeter, there you put your compass, and there you may draw the radii. And similarly, you just have to measure 24 centimeter from here only, take the exact point, and from that point you have to draw the meridians. Similar process will go on for constructing other parallels of latitude and other meridians. So the projection will look like this, that none of them is a concentric one, rather they are non-concentric arcs of circles, and here all the meridians are intersecting all the parallels of latitude at right angles. Therefore the conformity, it becomes a conformal, that means the shape is being preserved. Now I come to the concluding part, that is the properties of the projection, equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection, and it is being found that this is a conformal projection where the property of orthomorphism is being maintained. In other words, the shape is being preserved by this projection. And how the shape is being preserved? All the meridians are intersecting the parallels of latitudes at right angles, therefore the shape is being preserved. In this projection, a complete hemisphere can be shown. You have made the eastern hemisphere, similarly the western hemisphere can be shown through this projection. Next is, all the parallels and meridians except the equator and the central meridian are arcs of non-concentric circle. From the construction, you have come to know that all the arcs you have drawn for parallels of latitude or for meridians, they are not from the same center, therefore they are non-concentric arcs. And finally, neither the parallels nor the meridians are equispaced, their distances increases away from the center. So this is the end of the total lesson of our today's project. So apart from that, I have also giving you a new exercise on this projection, which goes like this: that draw the graticles on equatorial azimuthal stereographic projection with a scale of 1:250 million at 30-degree interval, where the plane is tangent to the equator at 90° west. So from the exercise, just find out which one should be the central meridian, what should be the interval, and which hemisphere you have to draw. Then just proceed following my instruction, whatever I have given in this video, and just complete this new exercise. So students, hope it will be helpful to all of you, and you just practice it. Thank you so much.